EG are 70-8 with this roster. When Luo has more deaths than kills, they're 29-44. I haven't seen a split that dramatic since Trixie.
It's time to find out what exactly plays out in the game.
It's about to drop, the stun's gonna go off, and they did it! They saved Bonner, they get the stuns, and IG are all low! This could be a totally wide Birdie! Fighting in the middle of everyone against three! But the constant hits of Vader are just too much to handle, it's only Luo! Misery's gonna come through, Choo-Choo, light strike array! He actually hits Misery, and Birdie's gonna survive! He gets away, and Misery falls! There's the Mega Creeps, and there's the GG!
Team Secret has just been incredibly dominant. They put on shows for us, for the fans. They're the team I think everybody wants to see.
Last White jumps in for the orb, and Ash got S4 in the TP, but Mushy's so low! The scream will kill him! Arteezy will still drop. This will be a double kill for S4 as he'll blink up to avoid Johnny. Actually commits suicide with his own conversions! Denied! Right the fight in front of the T1 tower! They're in OK XY! Double Kaggers! Do they want to throw it down? More support's coming in! No! Oh my! Triple kill for Koro! GG! 30 minutes! Fnatic have been 2-0 now!
Welcome back, everyone, to ESL One Frankfurt. And as we prepare for semifinal number 2, I've got a little surprise for all you guys. And I have to say, I feel a lot better now here on the expert desk with these 4 lovely gentlemen from Team Alliance. It's going to be Loda, Bulldog, Matt, and PieCat joining me. I can already feel that the knowledge level of Dota has just increased by 100-fold here on the desk. So thank you very much for joining me. I feel a lot more comfortable now. I don't have to depend on Milk dropping random knowledge there that I can't rely on. How do you feel about Milk's analysis, PieCat?
Well, I think so far it's been decent somewhat. I think he made a couple mistakes yesterday when he was talking about Team Secret in the draft, but other than that, it's been okay.
All right. Some credit over there. But let's take a look at the bracket really quick before we jump right into semifinal number 2 to remind everyone how things have been going in the tournament so far. Of course, we just finished the first semifinal, and EG still going 4-0 so far in the main tournament, beating Virtus Pro and now taking that spot in the finals. And now IG and Team Secret on the bottom side, they'll duke it out in a best of 3 to decide who plays Evil Geniuses coming right up. So so coming up right now, it's going to be IG versus Team Secret. Of course, Team Secret, everyone's saying that, they've been the fan favorites. We all think that they're going to win. I think in the brackets for the Fantasy League, they're way ahead in terms of percentages. But Loda, what do you think? Is it really that one-sided?
No, of course not. I think that, the thing is they did play each other before in the seeding matches, as we all saw, and that game wasn't that even. At the same time, I think that if any team can beat Secret here, I think it's either EG that is already in the finals, or it's IG. I think that IG is the stronger Chinese team right now here at the tournament. They're the only team left, obviously. But I think it's going to be 2 really, really good games, and I'm sure that IG has prepared something for Secret. And if I'm not wrong, I think that IG would have prepared something for Secret even going into this tournament.
Oh, just expecting to meet them at some point. Bulldog, what about you? What do you think? Do you think IG's prepared enough to take this game and go to the finals?
I'm definitely going to say that Secret's going to win because, they have S4 and I've played with him. He's a good player, and so is Arteezy. He's a bit overrated, but definitely good enough to be in a top team. So,
I'm done.
Yeah. Good enough to be in a top team. We'll see if that is going to pull through here for the finals. Now the players are ready to enter the stadium, and we'll get to hear more from you guys. Of course, Team Secret being their opponents, and Invictus Gaming coming right up. All right, so we've kind of gone down the line. Matt, what do you think? Do you think Secret's maybe just good enough to edge one out here in the semifinals, or you really think it's 50-50 for now?
No, I wouldn't say it's 50-50. I think Secret has they're the favorites for that match, at least in my opinion. They've been doing really well, and they put up really impressive performances. So IG, it's really weird to say that IG are underdogs, but here, in my opinion, they are. But it can go both ways. I kind of agree with what has been said. I don't think it's clearly a win for Secret. Very far from this.
All right, and as we're waiting for the players to all go into their booth and get ready for the picks and bans, of course, one thing's been on the mind for the community ever since that last game yesterday. Oh yeah, Techie's definitely a top tier pick. I mean, you guys are all nodding your head. PieCat, what do you think? Techie's definitely a top tier pick. Will we see it again today?
I think that Tekis is a good hero, but he doesn't really compare to Pitlord, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I think perhaps we may see a Tekis if they win 1-0 first, and maybe in the second game.
All right, I mean, that's what happened. That's what happened yesterday. Secret always trying to play a little bit more comfortably in the first game, and then if they win that, showing us something fun, especially for the fans here in Game 2. Do you think even if they win, though, I mean, you guys have been saying that, oh, I mean, sure, they're the favorites, but IG, if anyone can beat Secret, IG is going to be one of them. Bulldog, do you think they can be that lax even after one win, or do they have to really be nervous until they secure that spot in the finals?
No, I think they're going to be very confident. And, I mean, even though I like IG as well, I don't think they will win this. I think it will be probably 2-0. I have faith in S4. But yeah, I think Secret will win for sure.
I think Secret is pretty much always confident going into their games. And I also think the thing with the tech is, I mean, it's not only to make the fans happy. They are good with the hero.
Yeah, right.
Kuroko really knows how to play him well, and it's also that you surprise your enemy, because how many teams have played an official game against Techies? So they're winning the mind games before the game even started, and they played really, really well with the Techies as well. So I think that, yeah, if they win the first game, they might go for something less cookie cutter for the second game, but they will always be serious about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that's kind of been their formula, is throw them off their game. Win the first one, and they say, hey, have you dealt with this before? Bring out something new every time. Well, it looks like the fans are pretty ready for the game, so I can't wait to get into picks and bans. But before that, let's hear from the fans on who they think will win in Team Secret versus IG. First up, Sean, who's with you out there?
Thank you so much, Obra. I am joined by Toby. Toby, good sir, where are you from?
I'm from Denmark.
Denmark, fantastic. You gotta love the Danes. What brings you here to Frankfurt?
A friend invited me. He lives in Germany, and so I just jumped on the train.
Absolutely perfect reason. And you guys know each other from playing Dota?
Yeah, and WoW, basically.
Good stuff, good stuff. Now, you are a
Secret fan, for sure.
Secret fan all the way. Have you always been a Secret fan? Why do you like Team Secret?
I was a Secret fan from when I heard they were going to make Team Secret, just because of the players in it. My favorite player is Papi.
There you go. Anybody else Team Secret fans around me? Yeah! Plenty of support here, plenty of support here. Now, of course, we're very thankful that you gave us your opinion on coming here, so I'm going to give you this G2A gift card. What are you going to buy with your G2A gift card?
Games and shit.
There you go. Now, of course, that's not all. There also is a magical party tonight, super exclusive. So I'm going to give you 2 tickets to tonight's party, which you can, of course, hand out and get all that good action, brought to you by the lovely people at Twitch, of course. But for now, we're going to go back over to the PaySafe expert desk.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sean. Some fun there in the audience. Of course, we do have fans on the other side, too. So how are things looking for IG fans?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's actually hard to spot IG fans here in the crowd, but I still find one, and he's sitting right next to me. Good sir, what's your name?
My name is Vitaly.
All right, Vitaly, so you are joined by friends here. You came together into the stadium, but turns out they're all Secret fans. Does that hurt the friendship at all?
It's pretty hard. They try to convince me and put me down the whole time. Shout at me if IG dies. It's pretty shitty.
All right, so your life is a bit miserable right now, but you know what? I have ways of making it better. So I will actually give you this G2A gift card for 20 euros. And you know what? Just to rub it in their faces, right? Sitting right next to you. I'll also give you those Twitch after show tickets, which you can use. And I mean, are you gonna bring any of those guys? Do they deserve to come with you?
If they lose, I will, so their life isn't that miserable.
All right, so do you think they're gonna lose? Do you think the guys from IG gonna take this?
Of course, just look at Burning, at Chuan, we can't lose.
All right, that's a statement, so let's see if it's gonna happen. And for now, we're gonna head back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Soya. All right, so we we have at least one fan convinced that IG is going to win here in the stadium. But it's time to hear what you guys think. And the other experts we've had on here, we've had some wins in terms of predictions, but we've also been a little bit shaky, particularly one person there. Hopefully you guys can all get it right today. We'll start with you, Paike. Who do you think is going to win this semifinal?
I think Secret is actually going to take this 2-0.
2-0, all right, convincingly. What about you, Matt?
I'd say 2-1 Secret.
2-1-0. A little bit of a closer match. Bulldog?
2-1 Secret.
2-1. And Loda, what about you? do you feel pressured that you have to say something about
It is the problem with the
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I was gonna say 2-1 Secret, but I love Chuan, and therefore I will say 2-1 IG.
Ooh, 2-1 IG. All right, for the love of Chuan, 2-1 IG. But overall consensus does seem to be that it's going to be fairly close. And oh, look at that, though. Community around the world says 80-20, more or less, 79-21, 8-2 odds in favor of Team Secret. So we all set our predictions, but predictions, of course, it's hard to tell. Would you say the fans are pretty correct in expecting that, Matt?
I think 80-20% is a bit too much. It's a bit. I feel like IG has more chances, but yeah, I kind of agree. I think Secret are the favorites for sure, and also based on what we saw in the tournament and in the seeding, I understand the 80-20%.
Oh, all right. Now, Loda, we were talking so far about picks and bans and how Secret likes to play a little bit more relaxed and bring out something new in Game 2. But in Game 1, do you think they're still going to stick to the strategies they've always had of playing something that's much more consistent and much more usual for other teams at the same time?
I think that they will stick to their style for sure. I mean, they usually, it feels like the first game they like these call picks and they like to just spam out and play around their opponent, making them frustrated. You saw was the first game yesterday, right, with the Trovis?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I think that they usually start off with one of those games. At the same time, I mean, I know that RTC will just ask for one of those heroes every now and then. Like, I think for the second game, he was pretty much like, give me Bloodseeker, give me Bloodseeker. You know? And that's the reason why their lineups end up like that sometimes.
Yeah, we did see that come out. And look at that, Team Secret getting that Tusk through the bans in their first pick as we take a look at the picks and bans. Both bans going down, Pugna being banned out by Secret, and then the Wisp and Quat being banned out by IG. So what do you guys think, Bulldog? I mean, what's IG's plan here? We all talked about Secret a lot, but what does IG come in with?
Well, I see an Undying ban, Pugna ban, Wisp and Cop ban, but no Prophet ban. So I'm hoping that he will see some play finally.
Yeah, we didn't get to see too much from it yesterday. SF and Lesh being let through the bans too, because we've had so many different bans and picks, of course, throughout Dota recently overall. SF and Lesh being picked up by IG. Most would argue that two of the really high priority picks in the meta right now. PyCat, do you think that IG is feeling really comfortable right now, no matter what Secret picks?
I think these are two very standard picks for this patch for sure, and I think they should feel quite comfortable picking up both these heroes. I mean, this is also a bit they're stealing some of what Secret could play potentially, so I think this is a very good opening because they can go many ways with this. Lesh can be either a support or a core, and the SF mid is Ferrari is very good with that hero, so.
Also that you can easily, like if the early game goes well for you can easily go for Death Ball with this Shadow Fiend mech first, and then you go for the Lesh who's just farming up with a Bloodstone, or we don't know if he's going to be a support or core, but I think this is the kind of approach IG would like to take against Secret, where if they have a good laning phase and they're farming well, they're obviously going to focus a lot on Ferrari, as they always do, but going for this Death Ball and trying to end the game by going 5-man, I think that is the right approach, because Secret is very, very good at playing around their opponents, and you can just see from the games yesterday, like S4 is always standing on this side lane, baiting someone to go for him, and then as soon as they move for S4, somebody will run to the other lane and you just keep splitting them apart. So I think that's what they're mostly afraid about from IG.
Oh man.
All right.
I also have to say that this Tusker is very scary though. I'm always scared when I see Tusk. Sigil is like the scariest spell for any carry.
Yeah, I mean, Tusk has been a bane for a lot of people throughout this tournament, and of course being picked up whenever it hasn't been banned. Looking at SD and Razor being banned out, Secret seeming to just get rid of any things that can really throw them out their game within the game here in the very first game of semifinal number 2. Do you think there are any now like super high priority bans left for Secret against IG to make things a little bit easier for them? What about you, Bulldog?
Well, when you're a team like Secret and you see Leshrac and Shadowfiend, like that would normally be scary for a lot of teams, but when you're a team like Secret, you don't really care. I mean, you're a confident team, you're going to play your own game, and you don't really care about these high priority heroes, you're just going to play well. So I don't think they really care about what IG picks, they're just going to focus on what they pick more so than anything.
All right, their own game. Well, we'll see if it's something a little bit more usual or if Secret comes out strong and swinging in game number 1.
I feel like the Secret bans are a bit like they don't want to lose against something. I wouldn't like to call it cheesy, but you know, this Undying Pugna death ball is incredibly scary. And if you just make a couple of mistakes, you could actually lose that game no matter how good you are, because it's Tombstone and you can, I don't even know if you can decryptify the Tombstone anymore, but it's really, really good synergy. They also removed the SD, that is very good setup for the Lesh, and yesterday you saw that Sai did die a few times against that SD Lesh setup. And then the last ban is Brood, because they don't want to deal with
Right. I mean, yeah, it's
Luo Brood. It is scary in itself. So
yeah, it's really annoying to deal with. So Secret, like you said, going out with just taking out anything that's annoying. They'd rather do, even if it's strong Lesh and SF, you at least know what you're up against. You know what you're going to face here in game number 1. Bristle being picked up by IG. So Secret, are we still expecting a little bit more just standard picks here, or do they feel comfortable enough that maybe they specifically came prepared? They're like, here, take the normal high priority picks. We've already come in with a plan. We're just going to ruin the mind games from game number 1. What do you think, Matt?
Well, right now, IG kind of show their cards. Like they're showing like they're gonna 5-man. You know, they're gonna be pushing with those 5. Like at least with those 3 heroes. It doesn't even matter if Leshrac is a core or not. SF Bristle by themselves, they want to go with SF Mech and force fights, take fights at your towers. So Secret, they kept it open, so they can now decide if they're actually gonna fight this or if they're just gonna play around it. And to me, the call pick is we will play around it. They won't go like brute force like fights versus them. And I think it's also the right approach. I don't see why you would force fights versus very, very good fighters early on. So I think it was very smart from them to keep it open. And that's also one of the weaknesses with that SF Radiant first pick, because you know he will get a good game, he will get mech. So you kind of know their game plan already.
I would much rather have seen a Coddle ban, last ban from
same. I was actually just
from
thinking
IG rather than this Gyro ban. Like, who plays Gyro for Secret? That's Arteezy?
Yeah.
I don't think that's one of his best heroes.
I don't think
if
so either.
they would draft Gyro, that's almost a win in a way. Not because he's bad, but because he's so insane on all the other heroes that are his go-to heroes. So,
but also because of the Coddle.
and the puppy Coddle is. It's so scary.
You saw yesterday, like he's setting up kills with blinding light. Like he's ganking with his Coddle with blinding light. I mean, and you don't see that very often. And they know how to use this Coddle very well. Like they will kite fights. They will drag these fights on very long, and while they're doing these fights, they have another player on a different lane, and he's going for these wrecks. So teams get stressed and
recall.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep composure when you're playing against Team Secret and they have this hero.
I feel like it's also very nice with both Lesh and Bristle, because they kind of want to run and deal damage at people. So this mana leak is actually very annoying to deal with when you have a Bristleback.
Right, good point. Now the Sven being picked up by IG. What do you think, Loda?
I think it's a burning Sven. I've seen him play it before, and I would guess that that's why they drafted the Lesh early. And I mean, it looked like they drafted all their 3 cores, but then they threw it around. I'm not really sure
5 seconds remaining.
if Sven is the best, but I mean, yeah, I like it. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Secret, and maybe they will even consider going aggro try, put Luo on a solo safe lane, and then Ferrari mid.
Okay. All right, we'll see how IG adapts. I mean, we keep mentioning it. You can't get away from it, even with the other guys here on the panel. That Secret, they will always adapt to your game plan. So you have to come in with something much more prepared as we head into the last phase of picks and bans. You guys already mentioned that Jara, maybe not so much of a high priority ban. What are we looking at here for IG?
The Viper pick is quite interesting though for me, because I feel like if you look at the 2 picks now, Viper and Cull, those heroes are very different in how they approach. Like how you want to approach the game with those 2 heroes. Viper is kind of very static. You know, it's good that the recall is going to help Viper be more mobile on the map, but even though Viper is going to want to stand and be around the fights, you know, whereas Cull, he's more of he will just delay pushes. I'm not sure. I don't know what they want to do with the Viper pick. Maybe they're actually thinking of not letting them take control and not dodging completely. Yeah, or maybe win the mid lane. But so maybe we're going to see some Tusk roaming very early on and try to pressure that SF. They don't have the best defensive supports.
Dire
All right.
team
Well,
ban.
yeah, and so far, as we were watching the tournament, I mean, the theme here when we've been breaking down games has been, I mean, you just need to be prepared to face those team fights no matter what kind of draft you have, because that's what everyone eventually culminates into. And the disable is being a really strong part. We saw a lot of harsh team fights yesterday for a lot of teams. What do you guys think? I mean, is that, although the meta hasn't really settled, is that always going to be your foundation that you need to be prepared for those 5-man team fights, even if that's not your specific strategy?
Reserve time.
For sure. I think you have to be ready for it, but I think that a hero like Carl is one of those heroes that makes you ready for it. You just delay them. So you don't take that 5-man fight. You wait until they get frustrated because someone is split pushing.
There
then
you go.
you TP back. Then Carl will recall someone and then you take the fight 5-on-4 instead, and then your team fight is a lot stronger. So
yeah, that's one way to do it. Just don't face it at all. Wait until your terms come into play in the game. All right, well, last picks for both teams as we look at the last ban. PL and Dazzle being banned out by IG and Team Secret, respectively.
10 seconds remaining.
What should we expect here? I mean, anything crazy that can come out from either
5
team that's
seconds
really going to
remaining.
change how we've been looking at the draft. What do you think, Bulldog?
Well, there's one hero left. So if I were
Reserve
IG now, I think I would pick Prophet. And I could rat this game. Easy.
All right.
That's what I would do.
All right.
Well, 50 seconds left for that chance for IG.
I mean, IG are definitely looking for a supporter, as Secret are most likely looking for an Arteezy hero. And it's going to be a Venge.
what do you think Secret is going to go for? I don't think they're going to go for the Drow, right?
No.
It's still here,
I also
but
don't know.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
think it's
sure.
going to be the Bloodseeker either. I mean, it potentially could be, but I don't think so. I feel like it's going to be some sort of hard carry.
All right.
Well, I'm actually, I actually don't know.
Drawing a bit of a blank here. I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of the Viper. That's all.
Yeah,
I feel like S4 should be on these
Yeah.
playmakers, and I really, really love to
10
see him with on those
seconds
elusive heroes.
Could it be
Kind
a
of
position
playing
1,
puck.
Viper?
I
I don't think so either.
Not Arteezy.
It's not an Arteezy hero.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Viper either. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're definitely the carry right now,
Reserve time.
but it feels like they lack a lot of. To me, they lack a lot of damage still. They don't have any damage for now. Like the Tusk, the Rubik, and the Viper, they don't do so much damage.
right.
So they really need the damage healer. That's big.
Bad.
Oh, well, there you go. Talking about here's Anti-Mage coming in, and that's going to round out the lineup for Team Secret. Well, that's it for the picks and bans. Thank you so much for your insight, gentlemen, from Team Alliance. Of course, it was a pleasure to speak with you, Loda, Bulldog, Matt, and PieCat. But for now, we are ready for semifinal number 2. Who's going to take it? Who's going to face EG in the grand finals? Let's find out as we jump over to the casters on the stage.
Kappa.
Thank you very much. Yes, let's get underway for Secret versus Invictus Gaming, game number 1. The Dank has gone from the panel to this desk by the looks of it.
You didn't need to say it. It was implied. It was,
Really?
It was doing its own.
Really?
It was carrying its own weight. It's all right though. I can't get enough of that. Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I think it's a very unpredictable one as far as drafts go. In my opinion, maybe relative to the opponent draft, perhaps Secret's weakest draft of the tournament, I dare say. But that doesn't mean they have a weak draft. It's just...
It's actually an average draft as opposed to an extraordinary draft, which they normally seem to have.
Exactly, because generally Secret have a really, really smart approach to things, and I know they're going to put some great lanes here, but when I look at over at IG's draft, I just see a very well-rounded draft that really has the tools for example, dealing with an anti-mage. I think if Arteezy does not have a really explosive early game, he can have a mid-game where even if he has great farm, you're playing anti-mage into Shadow Fiend, Bristleback, Venge minus armor, even a Sven with bonus armor for the team. There's just a lot of things to play around with, and I think the only reason they really wanted it was for the Mana Void for Lesh. Else, I think they go another route in this game with Arteezy's hero. So, should be interesting to see. I actually favor IG's draft this game, though.
Yeah, it looks really strong, and they've got great control abilities. We've actually got a draft with stuns, which we can be happy about as opposed to our previous game yesterday. But the draft is strong for IG, but Secret, if they can hit their timing, if they can get their space, they can do so. And Papillon, Keeper of the Light, and Kuro and Rubik, these two support heroes for Secret can easily do it, especially when you know who's playing what. Kuro's Rubik is legendary. It's probably the greatest Rubik in the world next to a couple of the Chinese players. And Puppy's Keeper of the Light goes back ages. Kuro, though, well, his Rubik is fantastic, but he can't survive this. First stun, second stun, Invictus Gaming, even with a Storm Bolt, they commit all 3 control abilities to claim the first blood inside the Dire jungle.
You need to be a really good Rubik to survive that. He might be the best Rubik, but that's a little bit too much to handle. Speaking of great Rubiks, just want to mention, by the way, how impressive that hero has been in general over the last few weeks. I thought a lot of teams overrated it, especially I believe we cast some games together in the Chinese qualifiers. It's obviously not the same caliber of teams in that qualifier, but it was rated really high, and I felt like it didn't have that high of an impact. But these days, the teams we've seen in recent tournaments really, really do it well. Standout player for me on Venge on Rubik to keep in mind has been Lil, who unfortunately for Virtus Pro they did get knocked out earlier today. But like you said, Kuroki also a great Rubik player, and there's more where they came from. So.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get into our lane. So IG, it will be aggro tri lane versus defensive tri lane, and unfortunately for Secret, their sentry ward is only millimeters away from seeing the sentry ward of Invictus Gaming, which is this guy right here, right on top of the camp. But while they're hunting for this, Kuro actually has to come back over. Arteezy's trying to stay in the lane as his anti-mage and find farm up against the triple stun lineup. You get caught by one of these stuns and you're practically dead. But Arteezy does have that blink, so he could evade at least the magic missile part of the attack, as well as the storm bolt, but he won't be able to disjoint that split earth. That's all about positioning.
And the problem for Secret in this lane is that if they can't pull, I'm actually very surprised they're not trying to drop the second sentry for this, because they should have a feeling that this could be, like, this is where it has got to be, right? Now Kuro has even checked this corner where, can you even put a ward in there? I don't think you can. They're a bit confused because I guess they're just used to this ward covering.
Yeah, they're pinging at the other side, and Puppey's going to drop the sentry ward down, and now they realize it's like, oh, okay, that's exactly where it was. Meanwhile, Viper actually in the middle lane. S4 has somehow managed to get a solo kill underneath the tier 1 tower on the Shadow Fiend, while on bottom lane, Luo is in real trouble here, as Zai's going to find himself a solo kill. Snowball into the shards, and with an Orb of Venom, it was impossible for the Bristleback to run away. Only 1 point up with that Bristleback, that's when it's still possible for a Tusker to get on top.
This is so huge for Secret, because that top tri lane, even though they can start pulling soon, or actually now, they lose a lot of momentum in the lane just by losing these first 2 minutes. And now the thing that happens is their solos can just carry the weight now.
You don't want to be doing this again, man. He's up against Zai in the bottom lane. The snowball comes in. He took so much damage from the creep wave, and Zai, he's got 5 cool stacks on top in the south, cancelled by that one little range creep. But Zai wants to keep chasing it in. He doesn't have snowball mana. In fact, he's got ice shards off cooldown in 1 second time and the mana available. He can keep Luo away from the haste stream, but realizes it's not worth the mana investment. So they just let it go.
Ferrari mid again is in trouble against S4. He's diving really deep, but a little bit of fogging there around the trees will keep him safe, but yeah, these 2 solo lanes for IG have been a disaster so far. And it can definitely happen. You get run over as Shadow Fiend against Viper. If Viper gets a head start, he is very, very strong for this particular lane. But just on paper, I'm very surprised that Zai is winning this Tusk versus Bristleback matchup. I would have favored Bristle for this just...
yeah, I know we were talking about it before we even started. We're looking at the draft, thinking, can you actually just leave him to go? Puppey trouble on top lane. They've gone for the first stun, double stun into Puppey as well as Kuro. And now Arteezy comes to join the fight, but Chuan, maybe there's enough life. Kuro's on the chase. Oh, he's out on the run, sorry. And Arteezy, no blink dagger available. The poor man's shield, at least the PMS can block a little bit of the damage. Blink in 1 second time. He can't do it. The Shrek Lightning will connect, and IG will find themselves more kills on this top lane. Puppey won't throw out the Illum to give the harassment damage on the way out. And IG have also got unwanted aggro. They've dragged that creep wave down, which means now the full creep wave comes onto the tower, and that's easy experience, which Puppey desperately needs. They need to have chakra. They need to find levels and the ability to spam out this Illumina on top lane. So if IG do dive, they're at least a little bit low on life when they come onto the tower.
And that was indeed a very deep dive, where I think if you have a TP on Zai's Tusk in this situation, you just flat out counterplay that very
He's really
easily.
low. One more attack from S4, and he hits him too. And now Battle for the Rune is a regeneration. He just lets the Viper Strike go. S4 going for the double solo, and he's got it. Double kill for S4. After already claiming the SF's life solo in the mid, this Viper is a beast at level 6.5. 3-0, 4 minutes in.
Yeah, this mid lane is over. Shadow Fiend does not stand a chance anymore. So they have to either rotate and gank the mid lane once, or they have to start playing defensively around him, which they definitely don't want to do, because that would open up Arteezy's top lane. And I can't stress enough how important it is that Secret solos are outplaying their lanes, because if they weren't, I think IG would have a pretty good grip on the early game just with how much they're getting out of the top lane. Sure, Lesh doesn't have that great of a lead on the AM, but just the fact that he doesn't have free farm, yeah, he's in trouble.
Second stun, third stun's gonna be available. Animation needs a blink, and he's away. Off to the side, Salve as well as one charge will keep Arteezy alive. Burning was actually allowing Chuan to farm up the lane so he could try and get the Split Earth from inside the Fog of War and catch the enemy mage out of position. But because he got so close, Arteezy, Chuan just went directly for the Storm Bolt instead.
I'm not sure if Ferrari can manage this one on his own. He had a game yesterday where he went 0-3 in lane. Actually, bottom lane. Luo should be fine though.
Yeah, just missing on the shards. At the same time, Leshrac killed off Coddle on this top, back behind the tier 1 tower. But if those shards were able to connect and having now the polar punch available for the Tusker, there's a lot more kill potential in this bottom, especially when Kuro just wanders himself in with boots. Even if he's only level 2, having that control factor with telekinesis and a little bit of a Fade Bolt damage is enough to help get the kill.
Ferrari is playing this the way he needs to, though. He got destroyed in lane by S4, and the moment you die once to a Viper as a hero like Shadow Fiend, you're in a lot of trouble. But he went into the jungle and got some stacks, and this is the really big play that they absolutely need to succeed.
Can they actually get him? S4 is going to go down. Poppy will at least get a little bit of Luminous Spam, and Zai in for actually the shards, getting Burning, twisting him up in the air as he tosses him like an egg. But it's a 1-for-1 trade-off. That Viper was still, as you said, the biggest thing they could get. Even if you commit a 3-man smoke and 4 men to kill him off, they got a reaction from Secret as well.
They lost their Lesh, though, which is, of course, being played in a core position this game from Burning. So in that sense, it's a 1-for-1 core trade, but I still think it's worth it for IG. They simply needed to get Ferrari a little bit more of a grip in the lane, and even though they trade, Secret do port in Tusk. I believe Puppey also ported to that mid lane, so
he did.
Double TPs. It does, however, come at the cost of Arteezy getting a little bit of farm in the top lane, so Secret do get something out of it, and they are still ahead in this laning stage overall.
It's even better for Zai, because he was the man that got that kill onto the Leshrac. So he affords Arcane Boots with this, so you've practically got a Tuskar that never really wants to go back to base anymore. Control the bottom rune, and he'll always have the life. Kuro's also trying to contest Ferrari, who's at this point just farming up. He'll need his level 7. But Viper only has to be just a little bit closer for this. They get a telekinesis pick up and then into a Viper strike, and they practically got it. And that's why Kuro's hovering around here. Level 3, there's your pickup, which means there it is, pull back, Viper strike, Ferrari TP out, Fadebolt damage, just not gonna be enough. He's ticking low, racking base, but he'll survive long enough while on bottom lane. It was actually a kill coming in for Invictus Gaming as they get the sun on the Tusker, and he'll end up dropping.
And Secret with that rotation mid. Kuroky, level 3 minute 7.5 on his Rubik. It's, of course, it's not that bad, but generally we see him have a really good early game where he sets up a couple of successful kills. And falling behind on Rubik against this kind of, I want to say, face rush lineup, where you're just like, you run in Lesh, you run in Sven, you run in your Bristle. That's the kind of lineup that Rubik really struggles to deal with. He has very weak mobility. You've got the telekinesis level 1 as your only defensive mechanism, and if you get caught by a single stun, you're just dead. So he's going to have a pretty difficult game, I think. And I mean, we're saying it for Rubik. Coddle is kind of the same story. So they need to be very, very cautious in the next few minutes that they don't let IG get the ball rolling too much.
Just keep your distance, farm up like what Puppey's doing at the moment. He just found himself a double stack. Prepared himself a double stack. So he's just going to find a couple of levels here, pick up your Tranquils, maybe potentially get to a 4-star, get some distance on IG when the fights do begin. And Kuro's just going to find some levels through pulling as well. He needs to have his level 6. We talk about all the stuns which IG have. Imagine what this can be done, like what can be done in the hands of Kuro if he can get both Arcanes as well as Blink Dagger on this Rubik.
And there are a lot of good spell steals. Of course, I want to say maybe the absolute best he can get, at least for many situations, will be the Lightning Storm. Just because IG will, as mentioned, want to really run in and catch you off. And a 4-second jumping slow on all of their heroes is really going to cause them a lot of issues in the fights they will be looking for. In addition to that, I want to mention how valuable Warcry can actually be. And it's in a lot of games you're like, oh, I got Warcry, I didn't get Stormhammer, but this is the kind of game where you look over at IG's draft once again, so much physical damage coming out from their side that should he be able to steal Warcry mid-game, that could be a valuable spell steal here. 20 armor for 8 seconds for the entire team is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, especially when you have heroes like Keeper of the Light walking around with 1 armor, and same with Kuro. Like, there's not much to speak of. There is, however, one big armor item which is being picked up. I say big, it's not just only for his armor, it's also for the heal. The mech is coming up rapidly for S4. He's only 120 gold away from completing the entire thing. For now, they want to try to crack up mid. There is the Tuskar behind him. The shots come out, but the S4 stun, that's a problem. Snowball in, here's on 4 heroes. I need to make more space, and he's able to do so, keeping Burning back. Even if the stun is hit on S4, Kuro will now make his way in the line. He's slowing him down. Not to mention the Sigil making it impossible for IG to chase into the river. That was 4 heroes trying to kill one, and a very nuisance snowball. Tusker coming in from the side.
I think Venge and Sven layered their stuns. I'm pretty sure they cast them at the same time. They weren't sure they were both going to get in range, and
it almost felt like they were just trying to do the nuke instead. Like, instead of the control time, it was just get the damage out.
Yeah, but the Tusk Snowball really ruined it for them there. That was a perfect rotation from Zai. Right place, right time. And definitely worth it for them. Like, S4 was trying to force a rotation, and he maybe got a bigger rotation than he wanted. But with no deaths on their side, they're going to be happy with that.
Yeah. Waste of time for IG, more time for Arteezy, who isn't going for the direct Battle Fury, but he still managed to find treads, the PMS which he had from the start, as well as a Ring of Health. Not a lot of money on top of that, but it still allows him to keep the farm going. And while Secret are continuously attacking into the mid or being aggressive onto the bottom, you've got more to play with because you've got space, and that's probably even the bigger thing. Kuro again is just watching Ferrari and just leeching the experience as he farms up the camps.
And S4, as you mentioned, has the mech, so he's still that key item up on Ferrari in the middle lane, who will, of course, want to look for a mech of his own, unless it doesn't look like Luo will be getting it on the Bristol, so that is the plan. And that is an item they definitely do want. As Ferrari again going to be aggressed by S4. Faith is level 6 on the Venge. He's 3-1-3. And I talked about this yesterday. I feel like it's been a tendency for IG that Faith has just, first of all, he's stepped up his game, and secondly, he's been given more experience and farm priority by the team than we've seen in the past. I'm saying that as he's 6-4 on CS, but it's a 12-minute game, and still, he's been having a really high impact no matter what.
Well, let's see if they can have an impact with this next move. So, rotation time for IG, and again, they'll head themselves up towards the top. They want to find the anti-mage. They want to ensure that he gets absolutely nothing. If they can't find him, take the consolation prize.
Oh, Courier would be a decent prize.
Yeah, it would be, but it's a little bit too far away for them, and they don't know if it's still got the speed boost available.
If they get a Wave of Terror on Puppey, he is super dead. He's going to give away his position here, actually.
Well, they have to come underneath the tower. Here goes your Wave of Terror. They do see him. Faith in range for the swap in time, and no!
Wow.
The Stormbolt will fly globally all the way back.
They were going to be able to make it in there, but Faith cast it as far away as possible, where it still gave vision of Puppey, and even with Warcry, they couldn't catch up in time with the instant TP out, so...
Yeah, in fact, I think the TP happened at the exact same time as the Wave of Terror was thrown out. Luo on bottom lane, Zai battling with him. He's got Snowball up and running. Shards in 2 seconds to try and hold Luo in position, allowing Kuro to arrive. There's those shards, but Kuro not really in range, not really... He's got 3 points Fade Bolt, but needed S4 as well right behind him to do anything with it.
And was that a 2-hero teleport to bottom by Secret? I think... No, never mind. Puppey couldn't have ported because he ported back to base. So S4 TP down, trying to run for that kill, and Kuroki has TP available, so... They did force a rotation here.
IG still brought their players as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a key moment. I think Secret might be making a pretty big mistake if they engage on the Bristle. We'll see if they're going to do it.
It was the same thing.
Like this is fishy right now.
It was the same thing that happened in the mid, though. And that was with 2 players that were able to keep them at bay. Now, the movement down. Luo is a fair way up, but they instead find Faith out with the shards bringing Chorn towards the front lines. The Warcry has gone off, and Kuro, the stick charge is 10 away and available for him. Can he survive through it? Well, at this point, it's only the Vengeful Spirit down. Chorn's going to join him, and the raid's not enough. Iron Mage comes in. Ferrari with the wreck move. There's minimal damage. It might be enough to kill off S4, but Kuro stealing raids, returning it in, and S4 picks up a double kill. They lose only Puppey. And Luo's the sole survivor defending that tier 1 tower. But Secret is pretty low. They might just back it up.
It's so important for Secret that they get the opening like that they find Faith out there and burst him down quickly. If they, as I mentioned, if they would have gone on the Bristle, if he would have been the hero they found out, they might not have been able to initiate at all. And had they done it, it could have been a disaster. But instead, they find the right targets. They chase down very nicely onto the key heroes. And the surprise factor there, Zai with the early Glimmer Cape really made a big difference.
Because that's what ended up saving Kuro's life. Luo, gotta be careful being this far up. Puppey's starting to find levels, and soon you're going to actually start to encounter mana leak from the Keeper of the Light onto Luo. And his mana pool is already quite poor. 572. She looks like our kill's going to be on top lane instead, as in comes Zai, Glimmer Cape in, so then he can just punch Burning out, and there he goes. Arteezy is the man to get the kill, enjoying the money, and also enjoying being 800 gold away from having that Battle Fury, the critical item for an anti-mage.
It's going to be a good timing, considering he was against an aggressive tri-lane in the start, but this is what I was talking about earlier in the game where, well, if Secret hadn't won those solo lanes so convincingly, Arteezy wouldn't have this amount of farm right now, because they wouldn't have had to rotate into the mid lane to help Ferrari. They wouldn't have had to gank Luo's lane as well. And all of that just really snowballed Secret into a very good position.
Speaking of Luo, he comes in close up against Zai, gets punched up, and that's a double damage rune over on Zai. But Luo kept his back turned, so he was going to be fine there. But on the top lane, T1 Tower is forced to be fortified. As Secret is bearing down on it. And they're actually full. There's support coming up from IG. Chuan's the first man to the front lines, got Faith and Burning right behind him. So what is the aggro tri lane of IG returns to the top lane?
Can they? They're just going to hold this top tower with Burning for now. His farm, considering that he was against this anti-mage in lane and was doing better than him, he has fallen behind big time. And it's of course been the rotations that he had to go into to help out his team. I'm not saying they made the wrong play by doing that, but they needed a little bit more crisp execution in the fights they found, especially around that mid lane area against S4 earlier, who, speaking of which, is looking to maybe open up on Burning. They're waiting for Kuro to be able to join. Now he's going to have to go, and Burning's dead.
Yep. Even if he just takes out from the Viper Strike, Kuro helps him out with the Fade Bolt, but he came in with a Shadow Fiend raise. They're being pulled back out. Kuro can't take damage. Well, the Wave of Terror actually cancels the Storm Bolt. Also unable to get the sun in time, Kuro has to walk himself out of this one until Colo can recall him again in 3 seconds time.
He has the same movement speed as the Venge, so there's no way
They found Luo, snowball in behind the tower of the tier 1, just send him up into the air, and in comes S4. There's damage, stun, something, nothing. Kuro couldn't get there to get off the telekinesis grab. And that would have been it.
Puppey was trying for a Mana Leak into Blinding Light, but Mana Leak only being level 1, the cast range is what disallowed him from getting that kill there. Willow level, I think he needed level 3. Could have actually stopped the Bristle port there, and that is an admirable attempt, but not enough. They still get the tower though, they're going to easily be happy with this. Secret are taking very good control of the map, 7,500 golden experience lead and a farming anti-mage with Battle Fury. And to think that this is exactly what IG tried to prevent with their laning, this is not good.
But this is what the panel was also saying previously, like Secret, they just feel comfortable. They play their own game, they play it their way, their style, and don't bother about anything else, because you know if you execute your strategy correctly and you feel like you can outplay the enemy, you just go for it. And that's exactly what's ended up happening here as Arteezy now. Because everything else works in the other lanes, he's up at 1,300 gold after having the Battle Fury already up and running, and he's taking away IG's camp. So now they can't even play around there. You get us 18 or 17-minute Hand of Midas out from Tuskar after he finished the Glimmer Cape. So you get a couple more levels. Maybe Ferrari can do something on this top lane as he comes to Puppey, starts the Requiem, and releases the Requiem.
Okay.
A little bit of revenge on the Captain of Secret, and then a straight TP out by 4-3-0. He's out to safety. Kuro may not be as safe though. Faith right behind him.
He's going to reach this swap, I think. Oh, maybe not. Lost the vision, and if he needed to cast out the Wave of Terror first, he won't be able to get him. A little bit of movement he loses from that would have been enough for Kuro. So.
He's actually creep skipping now, up against Luo. It's almost though he wants Luo to spend more time chasing him than being in a lane or coming anywhere near neutral camps.
This is the way Arteezy can put the absolute most pressure on the map. If he cuts the wave, he forces a reaction, whether it be supports rotating or, of course, like in this situation, Luo running over and fighting him. So they're taking a very aggressive stance and trying to minimize any impact IG can have right now. And IG themselves are looking for something.
Maybe they can kill off S4
and
here, and yep, there's mech charge available, but I think the stuns should be chained well enough that he actually not able to get it off. Yep, there's your stuns. Well, okay, he did get the mech off at least, but it takes so long to kill off that Viper that he was still able to purchase his 2 1k items. So you're only 800-ish gold away from having your Aghanim Scepter. The kill was successful, but in the meantime, you're losing your camps. Now Luo, that Mana Void, able to stop the TP out, and Kuro going to pick him up, throw him back. What do we got? Stolen Quill Spray? Maybe Kuro can start stacking it up as Arteezy's taking all the mana out of Luo, so no wall pass stacks, and with a triple TP response, only 2 of them will end up completing. And that's Faith as well as Chuan. It was Ferrari who didn't come back.
This is such a classic Secret play that I feel like a lot of other teams don't do enough, which is just putting pressure. I don't think they expected to be able to kill the Bristle. Like, the goal of that entire skirmish was not to kill him off. It was just to force a rotation. And every time IG are playing on the defensive, it opens up the map for Anti-Mage. It gives them possibilities elsewhere on the map. And, you know, it's not all about the kills. It's a lot more about the map, and I feel like Secret understand that like no other team.
They can still have the kills. Ferrari, blinding lighted up, pulled up, thrown around, and where's your Walrus Punch? Well, Zai standing in close. Now he finally tosses Ferrari up, with the Sigil making it impossible for Ferrari to fight, not to mention he can't see Zai. The shards will stop him from running straight back down the mid. While the lightning and burning is deterring Secret from going any further. Meanwhile, down south, Arteezy is taking out this tier 2 tower all by himself. And IG almost feel pressured to try and counter-push the mid, but with the Illuminate, the creep wave is practically gone. And Zai's coming back in again, maybe looking for shards if Luo is stuck around too long underneath the tower. But Viper will end up taking one tower as well on the top lane. And Arteezy hasn't finished on the bottom. So even if they do take the tier 1, which they might, there's your snowball. Face started off with a swap, but he gets wall punched up. The Suns are there, but then Kuro stealing swap, pulling it back under the tower. Not enough to save him. The Faith completely out of mana, hence getting a little bit stunned up by that mana leak. There's no other follow-up, it's just the Tuskar to die.
Arteezy is just creep skipping mid again now. It's got to be very frustrating. They need to be careful with the courier, actually almost flying that into him. And even though IG do get that mid tower, they traded 1 for 2 towers. They get a kill on Tusk, but it comes at the cost of Arteezy just free farming at the same time. And I was talking about how in this game, I think IG has a really good draft at fighting Anti-Mage, and I still think they do. What they needed to do was make sure he didn't snowball and get a very good early game, and they only managed to accomplish that for the first 4 minutes. Now the real challenge begins. They will find a pick on Puppey at least, so that's something for them.
Yeah.
The lowest prio kill they could get them.
Or maybe they could find Arteezy. He's going to blink down and then TP out, using, in fact, the fog of war behind the tree. Bernie didn't see him go, and it was the right decision. Understanding the Puppey died back over in the Radiant jungle meant that those stunning supports were going to come back over to him. So no point just trying to run it away. At least that's a nice item now up for Ferrari. A full BKB done 22 minutes in.
It's not looking too shabby for IG. They managed to find a couple of kills that keep them at this 7k deficit, which is still manageable, right? You're looking at the Anti-Mage, and his net worth right now is obviously ahead of theirs, but when it comes to teamfight impact, he is still massively reliant on Leshrac getting low on mana in the first place, and he can't just fight into their faces when he's running into so much physical damage that IG might still be able to take the teamfights they're looking for. In Secret, it feels like the game they had against Fnatic yesterday, game 1, where they just spread the map, they buy time, they play around the Coddle split push together with the carry. In that case, it was both Queen of Pain and Drow. This time it's the Anti-Mage, and they just build up an advantage. IG will be the ones trying to pressure, looking for this bottom tier 1. This is a very difficult fight, though.
That it is, but the Anti-Mage doesn't have mana style up just yet, so he's not perfect about burning off the instant mana of the Bristleback, but at the same time, you got Coddle, so you're still pretty fine with it. And Kuro, he's still got that Nether swap. It's going to last for a couple more seconds, but this means that Kuro, if he wants to, can be your initiator or a direct save if IG initiate him.
I don't think I can't remember seeing an aggressive swapping Rubik.
I can't think of it either.
Asking to get killed.
It's like
At least when you do it with Venge, you have the negative vengeance aura when you die, and you're pretty tanky with your armor and health. Rubik's just, please target me.
I suppose the other way is if VS swaps somebody out, at least you can swap him deeper into your lineup and instantly kill him. So it's a guaranteed kill. Either way. Yep. Pop him
for the big boy. They did force a rotation top from Burning, so
IG's ready though.
But yeah, it looks like they have a really good idea this is happening.
Anti-Mage is being pulled back in, and he's going to bring the Vladimir's offering with him. Wave of Terror, Luo just walks straight in, but he cannot see into the pit anymore. There's your Malik, and the blinding light puts him up on top of the cliffside. They'll hold him in with the shards, and Roshan Arteezy is still going to work on him. Decides to back it up, just blinks himself away as Luo is having the easiest time walking out past the Ogres. To just go back to the lanes. You chipped Roshan down, you force IG to come back, and you just go back to your farming game. They're under no pressure to take Roshan.
That was still a play IG needed to make. Even though they don't get a fight, at least they stop the Rosh. So I want to say mission accomplished for them. Just
but for how long is that mission accomplished?
That is a very good question. But it was a smoke used by Secret. They did not get Roshan. They did not get a kill. And IG are able to regroup and go again. Anti-Mage still without Manta. This, considering how much net worth is on him, I think he has less of a teamfight impact than a Shadow Fiend with 3k less.
He's got Manta now.
Yeah, when that flies out, things are going to change. There we go. So
it's actually coming on the courier at the moment to him while he's taking the Radiant Ancients, and now going to take out the top lane as well. How does IG even deal with this? Like you say, it was a fight that IG had to take to try and stop Roshan, but now Anti-Mage returns to the top lane. He's instantly getting recalled. And now IG think they're actually going for Roshan, which hilariously enough they're not, but IGE, they have an Observe Ward in the mid and Secret just smoked right on top of it. So IG should be 100% aware of what they are doing. The only irony would be if IG smoked on top of the Dire Observe Ward, which is in their jungle.
All right, this play is so sick actually. So it was gonna be, IG thought that Secret wanted them to think they were roshing with AM, or that they pulled him in for that, but then they see the smoke mid, so they think it's a smoke gank, and then instead they send Arteezy into the pit and turn to try to solo it, and they still figure it out. So another smoke from Secret, not successful.
Arteezy's coming in behind them. He's actually up on the high ground, right behind Burning as well as Chuan. But the funny thing is, Puppey isn't there.
He's going to cut the wave in mid.
He can actually TP in. They just can't keep momentum, and even S4's moving down the bottom end to keep it in, and IG have had enough of this. They're not playing Ring a Rosie. They're coming in to take out Roshan. The Sigil's down. In come the shards with the Fade Bolt. Roshan will be killed off by the Radiant. Leshrac will take the Aegis Immortal, but they're all trapped in here, copping Illuminous to the face. Fade is around the back end. There's no vision. The Snowball in. It's Zion close. Glimmercave trying to escape. He's underneath the Sentry Wall just on the edge. Ferrari fires up the oldie. He's going to be in range of Puppey, who's now also dead. The number 4 for you have Faith thrown up on top of the cliffside, but he's got swap available. Curran doesn't want to come back into this. Maybe he can still swap and get back down again. He's got one race, but he's stranded on the high ground. IG take 3 as well as Roshan, and a horrendous fight for Secret.
They just found that 5-second window where Secret were not ready. That was absolutely perfect from them, going for the play. They see Arteezy trying to cut the wave in mid. They see Puppey top, so they know that until Puppey is ported bottom, AM doesn't join either. And just that little bit of time is enough as Arteezy looking for Faith.
Does he have enough with the mana for it? Okay, he actually stopped walking and accepted his fate. He dies like a soldier.
What? That was really weird. I think he could have at least made it to his tier 3, and then maybe Arteezy just gives up, but instead he's just like, all right, you can have one back. Thanks for the Roche.
Accept my fate, you're the consolation prize. That's 14-12, and this advantage with Secret Howard about 7,500 gold. Starts coming back to 5,000 gold, and the experience is hovering around 3,002. So Secret's big lead, not as big as it used to be, but the leading net worth is still Arteezy. 16,000 is his net worth, and the nearest to him is 12,000 on the SF.
The thing to keep in mind with Anti-Mage in this version where creep kills have been nerfed as well as in terms of gold gain, both in the jungle and in the lanes, Arteezy will not be getting as far ahead as usual.
Puppey being hunted by Ferrari.
Sees it and guess away.
It was the Shadow Blade which was trying to get Ferrari to the front lines.
This is an interesting build-up. I think Ferrari will want to go for the Silver Edge this time. We've seen him just get the Shadow Blade casually on Shadow Fiend in order to set him up for ults. But being able to remove that spell shield from AM should be very, very useful in allowing Lesh to blow him up. Have a lot of spell damage between the Razes and Requiem as well, of course. Could be a nice addition to their repertoire.
Another smart TP out from Arteezy, blinking to the tree line just below the tier 3 tower of the Radiant on bot lane. Understanding again that the players are behind him. Great just map awareness from Arteezy, but he's still gonna be aware that Ferrari is on the hunt. Shadow Blade charge being used again, but Arteezy just moving from camp to camp, and in this case, Ancient, and they can't do anything to really stop him. After 3.6k gold, probably an Eagle song to be picked up now as he walks to the shop. He'll continue. He'll continue walking, and yep, maybe you're right. Mana starts gonna go Luo very quickly down on his mana, and the illusions will just chase all the way in. So you actually want to see him go for a straight BKB. I suppose with the amount of stuns, it makes sense.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think it's a good choice. I'm not sure if it's what he's considering. He could have bought it just then, but he bought a TP. So maybe he's looking at his options before he makes the decision.
Give him time. Like again, like it's not as though Secret's under pressure. As long as AM keeps moving between his camps, it gives time for Secret to just discuss what they really want to be doing here. You get a Blink Dagger on Rubik, so he's at his timing. That's just a standard item for Kuro. But like, what do you want out of this Tusker? He's already providing so much with both Solar Crest as well as Glimmer Cape. What more do you even want from him? What does the Viper go next? Aghanim Scepter as well as the mech? Another 2.7k gold? Do you try and get something like the Assault Cuirass? Do you go for something more tankier for the Viper?
I think getting Cuirass on S4 would be a pretty good pick. Alternatively, another BKB. When you look at the Radiant lineup, it just seems to be a really big value item. There's so much damage you can block, and there's a lot of key stuns that you would be able to avoid as well. So I think for Secret, it's either they all get BKBs or none of them get it. And then if that's the case, I actually think a pipe on Zai would be pretty good in this game, where he has a Midas, he can farm it up, he needs some tankability himself. I mean, sure, he's got a lot of armor, but his health pool is really, really weak against all these spells, so he either needs the pipe for the team or some sort of health for himself.
Okay, I want to ask you a question about Ferrari. You're running a Shadow Blade. Now, this isn't the cheapest item to use. It's 75 mana to actually use it. You've then got 225 mana you're burning from the mech. An illusion just hit him 5 times and took his mana down to 1/3. How is Ferrari meant to keep mana to continue to fight? There's no one charges available for him, so he can't just go to that. And you're popping a lot of mana to get off both 3 Razors and your Requiem of Souls.
He's fully dependent on a perfect BKB timing. If he doesn't do that, he is in a lot of trouble. And I think if he tries to itemize to have more mana, you know, not something like a Shiva, right? But let's say you get a Skadi, for example, an item that both gives you damage, tankability, and mana.
Yeah.
They might not have enough hard hitting for Arteezy come the next, let's say, minute 40. They need some sort of single target damage that really hurts. And
you practically need him with Monkey King Bar, because Arteezy could just finish up a full butterfly, but he's actually going to go for control factor. VS swapping inside, the perfect stun on burning. That is just beautiful synergy coming out from IG to kill off Zai.
How much gold is that kill? That is 1,000 gold swing?
Yep, 444, the bulk of it going into the SF.
Just these single pickoffs are really, really valuable. I'm surprised they get so much for it, considering they're not further behind than 7,500. I guess Zai's net worth in this game is pretty high, sitting on 10k before that death.
Luo just lost every bit of mana he had. The full Abyssal Blade is now done for Arteezy. Like, he's got those golden rapiers as blades. I think he's actually got more money than that. He could have an extra set at home. This anti-mage is getting completely farmed out, and there's nothing that Luo can really do about it, because he can't keep mana up during fights. It's impossible.
Is he going to try for Luo? Yes, he is.
Yeah, why not? You got your Abyssal Blade control with the Mana Void. The BKB also gets triggered, and he still finds the kill. That was the 10-second BKB burn. And 60 seconds on the sideline, not to mention a solo kill, rewarding him with 633 gold.
Perfect timing on the old usage as well from Arteezy. He needs to time it so that he gets it off right before the BKB with maximum mana burn, and just jumping in with Abyssal for the 2-second stun is enough to get completely out of mana.
They're coming to kill him. Chuan blinks in, finds the stun, burning, follow-up stun. He actually dodges it out. The 2 illusions stayed in the range for the split earth. But he just went the other direction now, waits in the trees and blinks up to the rest of his teammates. And the burning, he came in to try and do the D-board, shows himself in the tree line, and he'll go down, or at least Faith has to sacrifice himself for the greater good, but gives Kuro a level 2 swap. He blinks down, brings Ferrari back. Abyssal Blade still on cooldown for now, and Arteezy can't find the RNG to get the bash. But he'll move straight back into farming and taking that tier 2 tower in the mid. This is why you have to watch Kuro's Rubik. He's so quick with these things. The image is another 2,300 gold.
He's getting maxed out very quickly. Controlling the map very nicely. The fact that IG lose this little bit of a skirmish here in the bottom lane just opens up way more, gives them more time. There is indeed going to be the Silver Edge for Ferrari this game. As I mentioned, I do agree with this pickup, but it might just be coming out too late. 34 minutes is not the best timing in the world. And of course, Arteezy is scaling so fast that even if they can remove a spell shield, there's no guarantee they can even burst him down, especially not while Rubik has the swap available. It's just not going to happen. He can swap, then blink instantly.
Life is just beyond hard. It's about to get harder. The Aghanims is done for Puppey. So this global control that we saw Secret manipulate perfectly yesterday, it can happen again. Wherever you want to go, you're always going to have that recall to pull you back in again. Just keep your distance. And in fact, that silver edge, which Ferrari's got, he can't use to initiate. Kuro just buys a gem. He says, enough with this. We'll just get the vision up and running.
Oh, I'm hearing BKB.
Yep, it's up on top lane. Luo is the man to trigger it, as Arteezy was the one to jump in with that Abyssal Blade.
And now he's just playing the mind game because he just killed Luo in the bot lane with this kind of engage. So now Luo is gonna be scared of the same type of engage, which I think this time wouldn't actually have worked for Arteezy since Luo had full mana and full health when the jump came in, and I believe he also even grabbed a plate mail since that last engage. Arteezy just playing the brain game and coming out ahead, forcing another BKB charge from Luo down to 8, and it's been the first charge he died with, and the second charge did nothing, so he's not going to be happy with his usage of that so far.
Kuro, I think it's time to drop down a sentry ward, pick up the gem. We get a blink dagger over on Zai. So the blink into punch is now available from the Tuskar. Teasy, wherever he wants to farm Puppey, will take him. And looks like they may even have a crack at bottom. Luo is just trying to survive up against these Manta illusions, which have taken away, again, majority of his mana, and the catapult could just move down and start attacking into the tier 2 tower. So if they're not careful, this tower could even... No, okay, they get rid of the catapult, but the tower's within deny range. But Arteezy, he's got another creep wave coming in on your tier 3 tower on bottom lane. There just doesn't seem to be anywhere that IG is capable of moving. It's so similar to what happened. I almost want to say in the VG game.
Fnatic?
Yeah, Fnatic game. You want to fight, but you just can't. Like, there's just no choice.
That's going to give them a rush. They're playing it very methodically. They're doing such a good job at map controlling. This is pretty much a textbook example of how you want to play the Dire lineup against the Radiant lineup. You want to avoid the direct fights. You want to keep farming. Arteezy just ate
a moonshot,
a little bit of a crystal, getting some more attack speed as he is getting maxed out. And the reason he goes for that is that he has the Aegis, else he would have got another item first and used that slot. But this is just going to up his farm rate even more.
Up the farm rate, up the chance for also getting that bash during the fights. It's just easy upgrades for the Anti-Mage. When you've got the cash, why not? And this is the way we're an Anti-Mage. Like, normally we kind of say an Anti-Mage will drop off around the 45 to 50 mark because he's just maxed out. He can't grow any further than that. But that's the point when something like a Moonshot can help you to do so. All right, they're getting pulled up to the top lane.
Oh, burning.
Going right on top of burning. And, well, with the shards burning, there's your stuns. Abyssal Blades, and he is so dead. Pulse Nova even being stolen by Kuro. And can they find the other one? Nope. Chuan able to TP himself away.
Another BKB charge doing nothing here for IG. As Burning uses his 10-second one, still dies. When's the last time they found something on the map? They found one kill when they killed Tusk 7 minutes ago, I think. That might be 6 minutes ago on that graph. Before that, we're looking back another 5 minutes. Secret's just not letting them find anything.
They're going to find more kills. Faith on the other side of the tree line finds Luo to start with. It's Arteezy. There goes your first bash. He hasn't got the Abyssal Blade up and running, but he just jumps down. There's your BKB going again, but the drum charge actually triggered out. Runs himself away as quick as he can. Fearful as ever that Arteezy can just keep going, which he really can. But Aegis the Immortal still being there. He's burned only 2 minutes of the duration of it. But they're ready to go high ground. Like, you got a full assault cuirass over on your Viper with the Aghanims. Kuro is ready to jump at a moment's notice. He's even got Pulse Nova. Like, the mana pool maybe not the greatest to support it with only 1,000, but he can still pump out a crap ton of damage. And Zai's got Initiation plus Buyback, having 2,200 gold up his sleeve.
I actually think Kuro's just immediately going to spell steal something else. He won't want to put himself in the position where Pulse Nova will be necessary. It is great damage, but he can do greater things at a distance for sure. So it's not the spell he was hoping for when they went on Ferrari, on Burning. He wanted to steal Lightning Storm, I think. Didn't find it. And, well, you know, if you don't try, you don't get any spell, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You can just try again on someone else now.
Smart TP out by Burning.
Just look at this map. They're so cornered inside their own base. They really can't get out. Secret are pushing all the lanes, farming all the jungle, forcing out BKBs for nothing. And now they decide it's go time.
Well, how quick can they do it? The stun's already gone over on Arteezy. And, well, Luo, he's a little bit controlled, keeps the back turn to S4, looking for the Quill Spray stacks to go on him for S4, not to mention he's mana leaked. So it's kind of difficult to stand where he is.
IG have to fight now. It's going to be daytime in 30 seconds, and then this is going to be twice as hard against that Kotler Luminate.
Well, Burning's got a little bit more survivability when he goes in. It's actually a plate mail. Sitting back, there's your swap on Puppey. Snowball comes in. Zai couldn't save his Keeper of the Light, but VS, he can. Stealing swap once again. Blinding Light. The Geometrucite is down the ground. They want to be picking this one up, but Luo, he's so far back. Arteezy's just ignored the rest of the world. He's gone for the tier 3 tower on top, and now soloing Burning all by himself. He's a 3-on-1. Arteezy goes man mode with the bash on Ferrari 430. Can he find more? He just goes back to Rax. Remember, objective-based gaming. The rest of his team is on the bottom. Ferrari's trying to stop Arteezy, but he can't do it. The blink away to safety. The top melee Rax is gone. The bottom melee Rax will soon join it, and Arteezy comes back for seconds. He wants the range Rax on top or just move towards the mid. Secret's mopping up the rest of the bottom, and it looks hopeless for IG right now.
They're going to lose 2 lanes of Rax. This is...
I think they lost 3.
I think this is over. I don't know what they can do anymore. There's 30 seconds on Bristle. I think their chance of taking a team fight is pretty much non-existent without him. Arteezy just doesn't care.
He's waiting 10 seconds until he's got the Abyssal Blade off cooldown. Then he'll probably have a crack at it. But they just keep putting the Solar Crest on him. So he's 100% fine when he jumps in. They've already taken out the melee, and Ferrari swap back out again. Kuro still had the triple stun from Chuan, doing some work. Requiem from Ferrari, he'll be pulled up into towards the air with the Walrus Punch. The Oli still did go off with the snowball back. Secret haven't lost anything. In fact, I think they've won it. Anime just destroyed them all. They haven't lost a hero. IG, they're all dead, and a game is Secret. Wait, game number 1 of this best of 3 semi-final of ESL 1 Frankfurt. It goes to the tournament favorites. And now they are 1 victory away from facing up against EG and denying IG the potential to have exactly the same final as we had here in 2014. The IG versus EG matchup. It's looking difficult, Sind.
That might be the biggest outplay of the tournament past minute 20. It felt like IG couldn't do anything on the map. And it's funny to see when you look at an end scoreboard like this, you have Puppey with 0, 7, and 5 playing a huge role because of the way they play around the map with the Keeper of the Light. It's a very powerful tool when Secret managed to get it with this kind of strategy, and I think IG have to be careful for the next game. Maybe you ban out the Coddle second phase and disallow them from running like this.
Well, we'll see what they do after the short break. We'll come back for game number 2, Team Secret versus Invictus Gaming.
Welcome back, everyone, to the PaySafe Expert Desk here at ESL One Frankfurt. Before we move on, and Chico gives a quick wave to the fans and the camera out there, we do want to remind you, there we go, getting my tongue all twisted up, but we do want to remind you, of course, if you have more stats you want to look up, or maybe just look at how the matches have been playing out, or you want some more news, you can, of course, check out the Score Esports. You can go to their website, thescore.com, or download their app on the iOS App Store or Google Play. Also, if you're here in the venue, as I showed off yesterday, this beautiful Haze bottle. You can win this if you participate in the Twitter wall poll we have going on here. Just tweet a picture of how you're enjoying ESL One with hashtag ESL One and gives you wings. We had a picture of Jacob and Ben up there earlier, but you guys didn't win the Haze bottle because I won it, because I put the picture up. So that's my win.
Are you serious?
Yep, this is mine. No, just kidding. This is still not mine. It's one of our producers. So that's it. So more ways for you guys to enjoy ESL One out here today in Frankfurt. But for now, let's get back to the game. We had semifinal number 2 kicking off between Secret and IG. And Secret, I mean, looking strong as ever, of course. And IG trying to maybe bring out something new, or at least try to counterplay against Secret. Not really working out, though. What did you guys think about the draft, Jacob?
I really liked IG's draft, actually. They could put on the aggression early on. They could try and dominate the lanes and everything. It just so happened that the Bristleback really doesn't seem like... I tweeted this out as well. I don't feel like Bristleback is IG's hero. We saw yesterday with Ferrari.
Yeah.
He sort of ran away from fights on a full HP Bristleback, and now we saw the same thing with Luo. He had 10 sticks, he had full health, he had a 200 mana pool. Secret had 4 heroes that were below 25% HP, and he ran away. He just, screw you guys, I'm out. And that just doesn't make sense to me at the level we're playing at here, so...
Yeah.
I would go elsewhere than Bristleback. It doesn't seem like they know just how to utilize it.
Yeah, we were seeing that earlier. As we're looking at one of the replays in the game, 39 minutes in towards the very end here. IG just trying to push Secret back. But Kai, I mean, you were mentioning that too, right? Just a little bit confusing on how, what was their idea with the Bristle? I mean, he keeps just running away. I mean, in that one fight we were talking, I mean, he was running away with full health. Just like, all right, I'm out of here. My team's gone. I don't want to deal with any of these. And even in the earlier fights, even earlier, they just couldn't finish off any of Secret's players, or heroes rather. They were all ran out in the mid lane with very low health, right around 100, 200, and they're just running away. What does IG need to do differently? Is it really just their execution that's an issue here?
I do think there's certain heroes that they just don't play that well. I think Bristol is potentially one of them. One key moment that stood out to me in the game was the early game where Tusk got a solo kill onto the Bristleback. And they were doing, during that phase, they were doing actually quite well on the top lane, where the tri-lane was dominating the Secret ones. I mean, it's to be expected that with an AM on that tri-lane against a triple stun, it's going to be really tough for you to stand on the lane. Secret handled that pretty well. They didn't really die too much on the lane, but I just hope... It's really tough to call for what heroes they really have to change, but I would say they just have to figure out an offlaner that could potentially work a bit better.
Yeah, right on. Alan, do you have something you want to add on to that?
It's not necessarily a hero adjustment, I think, as much as it's a playstyle adjustment. I mean, we're talking about probably the 2 best farming players in Dota 2 history in Burning and Arteezy. These guys average, I believe Burning is at 269 and Arteezy is at 273 last hits per 35 minutes in LAN competition, and that's the 2 highest marks ever by far. But when you look at Secret and the way they're playing right now, I don't think you're going to beat them on economy. I think you have to have a plan to apply pressure to them throughout the game, because, I mean, Cinder called it the biggest outplay he's seen past the 20-minute mark in this tournament. And while I'm not sure about that, what I am sure of is that when you just drop off the map and you let Secret farm, I don't think that there are many, if any, teams in the world right now that are going to win that kind of game against Team Secret.
Especially with the draft like that. You have the anti-mage for Celeste
Exactly.
It's a very easy solution that Secret turns to a lot. And if you just farm, anti-mage is going to outscale him very, very hard. The spell shield is just way too much for Leshrac to deal with, and he has a huge mana pool. He can just kill his entire team if he, is careless about when he pops his BKB. So they can also just kite the Bristleback all day. We've seen Bristleback not actually have too much success in this tournament overall.
Yeah, actually, in general, it's not just IG that's been struggling. You're right, Ben. Well, one last question for you, Ben. We were talking earlier with Alliance, too. I mean, Secret, that the whole techies idea is, that's kind of one of their go-tos if they win the first game. That's how they loosen up a little bit. Also, it throws a little bit of a curveball. Should IG be a little bit scared about that possibly coming back up here in the best of 3?
No, so we can see it picked.
All right, there we go. I like that. We'll see if we see the Techies again here at ESL One Frankfurt. We'll return with game number 2 of this semifinal right after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere.
Meching it. We have a contest. I'm healing on Viper. I'm healing on Viper.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!
I move objects with my mind. I climb the tallest mountains and